So I'm always on the search for the best camera that fits inside of my pocket, kind of like this. And with camera phones getting better and better every single year, I'm not sure how much longer this point and shoot category is going to live, because honestly, a lot of times I find myself shooting with my phone if I'm looking for convenience, or shooting with something much bigger like this if I want the substantially better image quality. But as of right now, we are... Whoa, did you guys see that catch? Whew. I'm just gonna just put that right there for now while I talk. Now, I've used the Canon G7X Mark II for the longest time. Love that camera, and I recently got the G7X Mark III. My experience with that camera, me personally, if I were to go and buy a Canon point and shoot right now, I would actually go get the Mark II, not the Mark III. But I've been trying to check out what Sony has to offer, and on paper, this thing is a beast. It does come in at almost $1,200, and I did pay full price for this with the intention of using this as my primary pocket camera. And overall, after using it for the last few weeks, it's an awesome camera. It's very, very powerful. There are a few spots where I think it could use a little bit of improvement, but we'll get into that a little bit later. First of all, 4K at up to 30 frames per second at 100 megabits per second, which is definitely great. And it does also offer 24 frames per second, which should be kind of like a, oh, obviously it does for a camera like this, but you know, now it's gotten to the point where some cameras don't include it. So I think 4K at 24 or 30 frames per second is what a majority of us are going to be filming in, and it looks good. The one thing I did notice is the image stabilization when you're just kind of hand holding it like this isn't as great as some of the other image stabilizations I've seen. So you're definitely going to want to be mindful of holding it steady. You can't just kind of go like, point it around, yo, what's up? You definitely want to hold it as stable as you can, and then it'll look pretty good. You can drop it down to full HD and turn on intelligent active steady shot, which I feel like is noticeably better at keeping your shot stable. So honestly, me personally, I would probably leave this camera on full HD, because that stability is a little bit more important than that 4K, at least for me. But if you got some super stable hands, or using it on a tripod, or throwing it on a gimbal, then definitely utilize that 4K, because it looks great. Why don't I throw this on a little gimbal and see what kind of footage we can get with that? And I also love that you can also do super slow motion all the way up to 960 frames per second or 1000 frames per second in PAL. And these modes are going to be in burst mode, so you can't just hit record and let it roll forever. It's just short little bursts, and you can just slow that way down. Every time you step up the resolution, you definitely notice a decrease in quality. The 240 frames per second is probably my limit of something that I might actually use. At 480 frames per second, it definitely gets a whole lot softer. And at 960 frames per second, it looks pretty bad, but still, it's super fun. I love having slow mo. I don't care if it looks terrible. I'll use it because it's fun. Now let's talk about the colors that come out of this. By default, on the standard color profile, I'm just not a fan. Some people love the way Sony cameras look. I just do not really like the colors, the highlight roll off, but you do have access to a lot of the Sony picture profiles like S-Log and HLG. So I switched this camera over to HLG2, and I did actually make a LUT pack to color grade HLG for the A6400, and those same LUTs work well on this camera, so that's what I've been using. And yes, I am plugging the hell out of my LUT pack, so link in description. And of course, audio quality is super important, and the sound quality out of these microphones that are built into this camera, it's pretty similar to pretty much all other point and shoot. It sounds good if you're in a quiet place without too much wind. With too much wind, it sounds a little bit like this. What'd you think?
Incredible, man. It was beautiful.
This is one of the best places you could probably have your first helicopter flight. Something like that would be amazing. And when you're kind of in a loud place, the microphone isn't very directional, so even if you're trying to talk to the camera, it's going to pick up all the sound from everybody else talking, so it'll sound more like this. Now, to fix the wind issue, in the past, I did get these little furry stickers that you can stick onto the microphone, and it helps kill some of that wind noise. But this camera looks like it has two microphones, one here and one there, so I think I am going to have to get a little bit creative about how I'm going to cover those up without blocking the viewfinder and the flash. The flash itself, I'd probably never use, so I don't care if I cover that up, but this viewfinder, I probably won't even use that either. So I just want good sound quality out of this thing. But if you want to go all out, we do have a mic jack right there, so we could plug this in and try to figure out a place to mount this microphone. I love how the microphone is so much bigger than the camera itself. But here's a quick sample of how the audio sounds from just the onboard camera. But if I plug in the microphone, here's what it sounds like with the external microphone plugged in. Sounds way better, right? You can probably hear all the breathing from the dogs. Oh, check out this bridge. This is a perfect location for me to tell you about our sponsor for today's video, Skillshare. Skillshare is an online learning community with thousands and thousands of online courses covering anything from business, design, photography, shooting video. For example, this one course, DIY filmmaking, which is all about creating the best pro look out of just the basic tools that you have available to you. Not everyone has super fancy cameras and all those fancy tools. So even if you have a camera like this RX100 Mark VII, you can make things happen. Skillshare gave me a link to put in the description, which will give you a 2-month completely risk-free free trial. So go check them out. And during those 2 months, you can access as much videos as you want, learn a whole bunch. And after those 2 months, if you still decide you want to keep it, which I'm sure you will because there's so much to be learned there, it's less than 10 bucks a month for an annual subscription. So killer deal. So yeah, I just realized I just lost everybody. I think I was walking too slow while vlogging. Carrie, Sam, I don't know which way to go. There's a whole lot of shopping carts that way, and then there's like a dark tunnel. Well, I was gonna tell you guys about the giveaway, but Sam's got it. It's the Canon T7 with a kit lens. So leave a comment down below and we'll choose a winner within 3 days of posting this video. So good luck. I couldn't find them, so now we're back at the car and hopefully they'll meet me here in a little bit. It's definitely Carrie that was like, hey, let's just keep walking. Forget about Gene. Sam's loyal like that. He would have waited. There you guys are. I was asking them, who do you think his idea was it to take off without me? And I was like, it's definitely Carrie.
Okay, I will say, like, oh, you did say, should we go back at one point, didn't you? And then I was
I knew, did I not tell you guys? I told you guys.
I was like, no, he'll catch
Girls
up.
ain't loyal. Well, here's the camera I was trying to show you guys earlier. This is the Canon T7. So there you go. Now, when it comes to the lens on this thing, it opens up to an f2.8 when it's zoomed all the way out. And when you zoom it all the way in, it's a f4.5. So not as fast as the f1.8 to 2.8 that Canon offers. Now, f2.8 to 4.5 isn't terrible, but I still kind of wish I had that f1.8 to get better low light performance. But luckily, this sensor is decent in low light. There is going to be some noise. It doesn't look perfect, but you can always crank that ISO and still make things visible. But this does zoom from a 24mm equivalent all the way to a 200, so that's impressive. Basically, it's wide enough that you could film yourself, and even if you're sitting really far away from something, you can still get a decent shot of it. So that's awesome to have. The autofocus while recording video on this thing is really good. From what I've seen, it's fast, it stays locked on, so definitely good job with the autofocus on this guy. Now, the biggest thing I'm gonna miss from the Canon G7X is the built-in ND filter. So on there, you can just push a button and then the ND filter pops in. This RX100 does not have that, unfortunately, and that can be a problem because the lens closes down only to f11. So I just ordered something called a mag filter, which seems really cool. Basically, stick a little magnetic plate to this part of your lens right here, and you could have a filter that you can just slap on here. So that is what I'm doing. It is an extra step, but it is something that I feel like will help the footage a lot. If you don't care about the shutter speed, then you can forget about that. But overall, a really solid and powerful camera that you can grow with. If you're looking for a camera that you just want to turn on and shoot and just get decent footage right out of the gate, I would say either shoot with your phone, or the G7X Mark II is still one that I really recommend, and that's like 649 bucks I think right now. Because Canon, I love just how it looks just right out of camera. You just turn it on, hit record, oh, it looks nice. This, I would say, if you're willing to put in a little bit of that extra work, you can achieve a lot with it. So I think this is going to be my go-to pocket camera for now. I think the ability to shoot in 4K in HLG and also that 200mm lens, I think those are the things that sell this camera for me personally. Anyways, let's read some comments from my last video, which was about taking the $600 Canon N50 and attaching a whole bunch of accessories and cinema lenses and shooting with it to see how the footage comes out. Is it going to be a noticeable difference, or is there just too much limitations with the camera body? Top comment comment was from Kinda Mike. Now edit the footage with Windows Movie Maker. I wonder how that is now. I remember back then when I was using it, it was so basic. I bet it's pretty decent now though, huh? I hear people are editing on iPads now. I'd be curious to see how that works. I'm so happy I bought the Canon M50, $62,000 to go. This is like the shot on iPhone ads. Additional equipment or accessories used. Yeah, that's pretty accurate there. I'd be curious to see how they do some of those ads because they come out looking really good. Is that Sports Illustrated model single? Asking for a friend.
Hello?
I'm doing the comments reading section right now and they're asking if you're single.
Yes.
I like how you're in the other room, like you're like 20 feet away from me, but I'm still calling you anyways. Would you like to come in here and say hi to everybody?
Sure.
All right, Sam, I'm gonna give you 5 seconds of screen time to find the love of your life. Go.
Hey there, ladies. Do you like being listened to, foot rubs, and food? Then swipe right.